What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to your video. Today, I'm doing another NASCAR silly season update where we recap everything that's happened throughout the 2024 to 2025 NASCAR silly season. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Silly season would begin in May, as it was reported that Matt DiBenedetto is expected to return to Viking Motorsports in 2025. While it's not been officially announced by the organization, many do believe that Matty D will be back with the Viking Motorsports organization, as he's been with the team for the rest of 2024. Then it was reported and confirmed in the middle of May that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has signed a 3-year contract extension with JTG Doherty Racing to continue driving a number 47 car, while Tad and Jody Geschecter have left the organization to go over to Joe Gibbs Racing starting in 2025. Stenhouse will stick around and continue driving a 47 car for at least the next 3 years. Then it was confirmed in early May that Michael McDowell will be joining Spire Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 71 car, and according to reports, it's a multi-year deal. It was also confirmed that his crew chief, Travis Peterson, will be coming over with him to be his crew chief at Spire Motorsports next season. McDowell will have a veteran crew chief working with him next year. Then it was confirmed after Brad Keselowski won the Darlington Throwback race that Chris Buescher had signed a multi-year contract extension with RFK Racing. While the details are unknown and unclear how long the deal is, Chris Buescher I expect to stick around at least through 2025 or 2026, as Buescher has performed pretty well with the organization. There's been a lot of talk about Junior Motorsports and them potentially looking to go Cup racing. However, for them to go Cup racing, they're going to need a charter. There have been talk about them moving up in 2025, but obviously that is not likely, unfortunately, going to end up happening at this point where they move up at all. Dale Jr. is still interested. They're still looking around. He stated that back at Bristol. And JRM is still very interested in maybe moving up to the Cup Series in the not-so-distant future. There's been a lot of talk about Carl Edwards throughout the year about him maybe making a comeback or return. He did originally say he was not planning to return to NASCAR to drive in May when he was announced to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and he said he would need it to be committed in order to do that. He has that interest, however, in getting into a booth, perhaps maybe doing some stuff with Fox, TNT, NBC, Amazon, you name it. However, Denny Hamlin did state recently that he does have a 2311 car that's ready for him just in case Carl ever wants to get back. So there is a chance and possibly if NASCAR does go ahead and increase horsepower, we could see Carl Edwards maybe potentially make a comeback and race in NASCAR not too far down the road. Then it was confirmed in May that Austin Dillon has signed a multi-year contract extension with Rich Schultz Racing. There have been some talk about maybe Austin Dillon retiring at the end of this season, but Austin Dillon will stick around and continue driving a number 3 car at least for the foreseeable future, probably through 2026 and maybe even 2027 as well. Then it was confirmed in early June that Stu Ross Racing would be shutting down at the end of 2024. After success that SHR's had over the course of the last 15 years, and of course winning Southern 500 with Chase Briscoe, who we'll talk about here in just a second, they will officially shut down their organization at the end of this season. Then it was confirmed in June that Todd Gillen has signed a multi-year contract extension with Front Row Motorsports. While the number is still to be announced at this moment in point, it is expected that Todd Gillen will once again drive the number 38 car for Front Row in 2025. A driver that's future is still a little bit in question currently at the moment is Riley Herbst. His name has been linked to potential possibility to drive for 2311 Racing in 2025. However, with the lawsuit going on currently at the moment, his future is still in limbo in question, as he stated to the media earlier today. But if they do get the stuff sorted out, he'll likely be at 2311 in 2025. It was also confirmed around Iowa weekend that Mark Truex Jr. would be retiring from full-time racing at the end of this season. However, Mark Truex Jr. will be running part-time most likely with 2311 Racing, including having a Daytona 500 ride with Cole Pearn as a crew chief. He'll also make select Xfinity Series starts and probably even some truck starts throughout the 2025 season. It was also confirmed during Iowa weekend that Kyle Busch will be returning to Richard Childress Racing in 2025. Kyle Busch has stated he might have been interested in going back to Hendrick Motorsports or JGR at one point, but Kyle Busch will be sticking around at RCR. There have been talk about him maybe going to Spire as well. They'll stay with RCR for the 2025 campaign. Then it was confirmed in July that Josh Berry will be officially joining the Wood Brothers full-time in 2025, driving a number 21 car. While the crew chief has not been announced for Josh Berry going into the 2025 season, he'll officially be staying in the Ford camp and going over there in 2025. Then it was confirmed in late June that Chase Briscoe will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2025, driving a number 19 car, and he'll have James Small as a crew chief next year. Bachelor Shops is going to be committed to Chase Briscoe throughout the 2025 season, and he'll be looking to run really strong and put up some great performances as he heads over to JGR in 2025. Then it was shockingly confirmed in early July that Ronnie Chose will be joining Spire Motorsports in 2025, the crew chief for the number 7 for the driver we'll talk about here in just a short little bit. Ronnie's going to bring a lot to the table and bring a lot of everything to help Spire Motorsports as that team continues to grow and develop as an organization in the NASCAR Cup Series. Then it was confirmed in early July that Noah Grace would be joining Front Row Motorsports in 2025 in a multi-year deal. While the number has not been officially announced for him for 2025, he is expected to drive the number 4 car, as the number 4 will likely be integrated into the Front Row Motorsports organization for 2025. It was announced in early July that Trackhouse Racing has sold a minority stake to Avenue Sports Fund. Avenue Sports Fund is owned by Mark Blasberg, who used to own the Milwaukee Bucks. He'll be able to bring a lot of cash in the organization to help them going into 2025, as of course they will expand to a 3-car operation next season. Then it was confirmed during, I believe, Indianapolis week that Cole Custer will be joining the Haas factory team full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2025, driving a number 41 car. His crew chief is going to be Aaron Kramer. Aaron Kramer has been the engineer for Chris Buescher, as they will also have an RFK alliance for the Haas factory team in 2025. Then it was confirmed in early August that Connor Zilisch will be joining Junior Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 88 car. While the crew chief has not been announced, there's been a lot of speculation, and more than likely Andrew Overstreet will be the crew chief of Connor. Of course, will finish the rest of the season running a ton of Xfinity races before this season closes out in 2025. Then it was also confirmed during that same week in August that Daniel Suarez will be returning to Trackhouse Racing in 2025, continuing to drive a 99 car. However, it is only a 1-year deal. So if Daniel Suarez does not step up to the plate and he continues to struggle in the 2025 campaign, there is a chance he could lose his ride at the end of this season. A driver's future that's been talked about a lot is William Sawash, and it sounds more than likely that William Sawash will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. William will make his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. He brings sponsorship to the table from Starkey. He will likely move up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. This means most likely that Chandler Smith will be out at Joe Gibbs Racing at the end of the year. With, of course, some drivers who have already been announced, we'll talk about here in just a short little bit, Chandler Smith's future is in question. There has been talk about him maybe going to Front Row Motorsports in 2025, but it doesn't sound very likely that is going to happen, especially with the future a little uncertain about the charter situation for the team. So I'm not sure what Chandler Smith will be doing, but his future definitely is a little bit in question. Then it was confirmed in the middle of August that Eric Jones has signed a multi-year contract extension with Legacy Motor Club to continue driving a number 43 car. His crew chief's unknown at this point. Probably Ben Bayshore will be the crew chief for him in 2025, but Eric Jones will stick around with Legacy Motor Club for the long term and the foreseeable future with the organization. It was confirmed during that same week in August that AJ Allmendinger will be returning to the Cup Series in 2025, driving number 16 car for Colleague Racing. AJ is going to be getting a little sponsorship with Ty Norris coming to organization. We'll talk about here just a short little bit. AJ, of course, will go back up the Cup in the number 16 car in the 2025 season. There's been a lot of talk about RFK Racing. There's a lot of talk that they are looking to expand to a 3-car operation in 2025. Kroger is expected to leave JTG Doherty Racing and head over to RFK Racing Group next season. And the driver likely going over to this car is Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is a big association with the Kroger brand. His sponsor when he, of course, drove for JTG Doherty Racing last year. It's very likely that Ryan Preece will be moving up, going to a better organization, and driving for RFK Racing in the 2025 campaign. Then it was confirmed during Michigan Week that Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer will be joining the Haas factory team in the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time in 2025. Sheldon Creed will drive the 00 car, while Sam Mayer will drive the 41. While the crew chiefs have not been officially announced at this point, many speculate that the current crew chiefs, Devin Recibo and Jonathan Toney, could be the crew chiefs once again for this organization in the 2025 season. That was confirmed during Daytona week that Daniel Dye will be joining Kaulig Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 10 car. He will replace Shane Van Gisbergen, who, of course, will move up to the NASCAR Cup Series next year. He'll be getting the 10 organization, probably have Kevin Walter as a crew chief going into 2025 next year. It was also confirmed during that same weekend that Josh Williams will be returning to Kaulig Racing in 2025 in the number 11 car. Remember, it was a multi-year deal for Josh Williams, so he'll be in his organization full-time in 2025 with the number 11 team as they look to get better next season. It was also confirmed during that same weekend that Sammy Smith would also be returning to Junior Motorsports in 2025, most likely in the number 8 car. While his number has not been officially confirmed at this point and officially announced, with the sponsorship he brings, he'll stick around with Junior Motorsports at least for the 2025 campaign. It was also confirmed that Justin Allgaier will also be returning to JRM in 2025, driving a number 7 car. With the brand sponsorship he brings to the table, it's a no-brainer for him to stick around next year. He does have talent, and he's done a pretty good job in the Xfinity Series campaign this year. This also was confirmed during Daytona week that Zane Smith would not be returning to Trackhouse Racing in 2025. There's been a lot of talk he's going to go to Front Row Motorsports. There's been a lot of speculation out there, but it's unknown at this point because of the charter situation going on. There's also been talk about McAnally Hilgeman being a potential possibility for Zane Smith going into 2025, but Zane Smith's future currently at the moment is a little bit in limbo as we don't know where he's headed, but he still could be headed to Front Row if things get figured out. It was confirmed during the Southern 500 week or later in the season that Ty Dillon will be joining Kaulig Racing in 2025, driving a number 10 car, as they will get the number 10 machine for next year off of Haas Racing. Ty Dillon's looking to run really well with Kaulig. I'm not expecting much from Ty. Of course, he's working as a consultant for Rackley Board Racing for the remainder of the year. He will stick around with Kaulig Racing, move up with them full-time in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. It was confirmed during Daytona week that Shane Van Gisbergen will be joining the Cup Series full-time in 2025, driving a number 88 car for Trackhouse Racing. Steven Duran, who's been the crew chief for Zane Smith this year, will be Shane Van Gisbergen's crew chief in 2025. SVG is looking for a really strong end of the year. He unfortunately got eliminated from the playoffs, but SVG looks to run really strong with the Trackhouse Racing group next year, and I think he has a great chance to make the playoffs in the 2025 season. It was confirmed during Southern 500 weekend that Christian Eckes will be joining Kaulig Racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, driving a number 16 car. Christian's been stout in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he's deserved the promotion to move up to the NASCAR Cup Series Xfinity Series full-time. He's going to be very strong next year, focus fully on Xfinity, and not make other starts in the Cup Series next season. It was then confirmed that next week that Brandon Jones will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing or returning to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. While the number has not been officially announced for Brandon Jones going into next year, most likely he's going to be back in the number 19. Brandon's been very solid with this organization, with JGR in the past. I think he'll do a pretty solid job next year in 2025 with JGR. It's also been reported that Roger Kroof most likely will be returning to the Truck Series in 2025. Most likely be back with Spire Motorsports. I think he's going to do a really great job and do better than he's done this year. He's shown so much improvement throughout the year. Roger most likely be back behind the wheel of the number 71 truck once again in 2025. It was then confirmed, I believe, around Kansas weekend that Kyle Larson will be running the 2025 Indianapolis 500 with Aaron McLaren. The big priority, of course, is going to be running the Coke 600, but if he has a chance and opportunity, I could see Kyle Larson missing a little bit of the Coke 600 to try to win the Indy 500. He's back running it next year. It was also officially confirmed that Alex Bowman will be returning to Hendrick Motorsports in 2025 in the number 48 car. There had been a lot of talk about Alex Bowman losing his ride at Hendrick Motorsports and going to Spire Motorsports because of lack of performance from some people. Though I don't think Alex Bowman deserved to lose the ride, there just have been a lot of conversation about that. He'll stick around in the 48 car next year, which is a decision. Then it was confirmed later that week that Park Kligerman would not be returning to Big Machine Racing in 2025 as he'll retire from full-time racing at the end of the year. Parker is still expected to run part-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year with another organization. Maybe if we see Big Machine run a second part-time car, we could see Parker get that chance next year. His replacement for 2025 will be Nick Sanchez, as Nick Sanchez move up full-time to the Xfinity Series at Big Machine Racing in the number 48 car. Nick's had previous experience with this organization and team, and he's deserved a promotion in my opinion, been really solid in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. I think he's going to be pretty fast and pretty competitive in 2025. It was confirmed that same week before Bristol that Bubba Wallace had signed a multi-year extension with 23XI Racing through 2026. While the future of the charter stuff is a little bit in limbo currently at the moment, Bubba has earned the extension. He's done a really good job with the team and organization. I think Bubba will continue doing great things with 23XI Racing going forward. It was also confirmed that same Thursday that Lane Riggs will be returning to Farmer Motorsports in 2025 in the number 38 truck. Lane Riggs has been very solid the last couple weeks. He performed really good at the end of the first round especially, and Lane Riggs got 2 wins near the end of the year. He'll probably improve and get a lot better in the 2025 season. Then it was confirmed on Friday that Harrison Burton would be joining AM Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 15 car. Harrison, of course, moves back down after losing his ride with the Wood brothers. He's going to get a lot of help from Ford most likely, and he'll stick around and work in Xfinity and look to get better in the 2025 campaign. Then it was also officially confirmed that Friday that Ty Norris would be joining Kaulig Racing effective immediately as a Chief Business Officer. Ty Norris has helped out Trackhouse Racing in a lot of big ways, and he's probably going to continue bringing a lot to the table going forward as he will look to bring a lot of money and a lot of cash over to Kaulig Racing for this year and next season. It was confirmed during that same weekend that Dale Jr. would not be running any races in NASCAR in 2025. The only way he would come back is if there was some sponsor that wanted him to come back, but the sponsor, Hellmann's, is not requiring him to run a race in 2025. So Dale Jr. will not make another start in NASCAR officially in the 2025 season. Then it was officially confirmed that Justin Haley would be joining Spire Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 7 car. There's been a lot of speculation maybe he can end up at Hendrick Motorsports in the future. Spire is expected to get massive and major upgrades going into 2025, and Hendrick is expected to help in a pretty big way. This could lead Justin Haley maybe in the future going to Hendrick Motorsports maybe as early as 2026. This means Corey LaJoie's future is in question, but there's a lot of talk that he'll be joining Ricker Racing in the Cup Series in 2025 in the number 51 car. Basically a driver swap for next season. Corey LaJoie has done okay in a few starts he's ran for this organization, but I think he's just ready to end the season. He's looking to run really good for 2025, but he'll most likely be with the Ricker Racing Group in 2025. Then it was confirmed about a month ago that Matt Mills will be returning to Nice Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 42 truck. JF Electric will be the majority sponsor for the organization. He needs to improve so he can stick around for many years to come, but Matt Mills will be going officially back to Nice Motorsports once again in the 2025 season. It was also confirmed around this time that Dale Hemrick would not be returning to Kaulig Racing next season. Dale Hemrick is looking to end the year off great. Obviously, he's likely going to trucks from what I understand. Potentially, McAnally Hilgeman has been mentioned as a major possibility. His future is in question, but he will not be back at Kaulig Racing in any sort of capacity once again in the 2025 year. We are also expecting that Corey Howell will be likely back in the truck series in 2025, most likely in the number 11 truck. We do think he'll make some select starts in Xfinity with Sam Hunt Racing, most likely, unless Sam Hunt does become a full-time organization next year. But despite the fact that a lot of us wanted to move up next year, Corey Howell will stick around in the truck series more than likely once again in the 2025 campaign. Then a couple weeks ago, there was a lot of talk circulating around Eric Almirola's future, whether or not he's going to come back in 2025 or retire at the end of the season. Eric's already won 2 races so far in the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Obviously, he had been suspended for a while after the confrontation with Bubba Wallace in a JGR and Toyota meeting. He's unknown what he's doing currently at the moment for 2025. He could retire at the end of the season. It was announced about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that Caden Honeycutt will be joining Nice Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 45 truck. Caden has been extremely solid this year, has performed very good with Nice Motorsports, and has shown a lot of improvement throughout the 2024 campaign. And I think him working with Phil Gold is going to be a major asset to their program going into the 2025 season. It was also confirmed during that same week that Carson Quaffle will be joining Junior Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 1 car. Connor Hall is going to be his replacement in the late model program for next year. Carson's bringing a little bit of funding and help from Junior Motorsports going into next season. He will go to Junior Motorsports full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series once again in 2025. It was then confirmed about 2 weeks ago that Christian Rose would be joining the Truck Series in 2025. It's unknown what team he's driving for. AM could be bringing back their program. That is certainly a major possibility and a potential prediction that could come down the road. But Christian Rose is officially moving up to the NASCAR Truck Series in 2025. Then it was reported about a week or so ago that Trackhouse Racing is looking to run the Rolex 24. Trackhouse has been very, very much on the move to make big moves. They're, of course, looking to go to IndyCar in the future and make other moves for 2025. There's talk about Connor Zillage, maybe SVG, maybe Kyle Larson if he wants to run it, but Trackhouse looks to run the Rolex 24 in the future. There's been a lot of talk recently also about Spire Motorsports maybe running a 4th car next season in the NASCAR Cup Series on a part-time basis. There have been talks about it recently. There's a lot of talk that it could be a development car for Roger Kroof or Corey Day. Continuing on with their truck program, Brendan Butterbean Queen, Andres Perez, and Kaz Grala have been mentioned as potential prime candidates for this team going into next season. Spire's looking to make some pretty big movement and some pretty big change going for 2025. Chase Purdy also likely will not be back with this organization once again in 2025. It was then confirmed this week that Hailie Deegan will not be returning to NASCAR in 2025 as she switches from NASCAR to Indy NXT. She will join HMD Motorsports to drive the number 38 car. She had her first test earlier today, and to be honest, it didn't go very well, but you shouldn't expect her to perform super well in her first test. Hailie had been talking to Haas Factory Team early in the year, but once the Haas Factory Team officially got announced, that went off the table. She will not be back in NASCAR officially in 2025. Then it was confirmed this week, I believe on Tuesday, that Team Amervent will be returning in 2025. Team Amervent is the money team, and they're coming back for a few select races next year. It's unknown and unclear who will be behind the wheel of this car for 2025, but they're probably going to run part-time for sure in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. Then it was confirmed on Wednesday that Taylor Gray will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 54 car. His owner is going to be Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is making his first ownership stake at just a young age of 22 years old. Ty will be working with Taylor to grow him as a driver, and I think Taylor Gray could be very solid, though I do think Corey Heim or Ryan Truex should be getting the seat over Taylor Gray. There's been a lot of talk about Lois Allen potentially going to AIM Racing in 2025 over the last week or so. There's talk that AIM Racing could be expanding to a 2-car operation, and a number could be the number 25, despite the fact they probably get someone who is a little bit better than Lois Allen. With him making select starts, it wouldn't also shock me or surprise me if he ends up in the seat for 2025. Then it was confirmed yesterday that Spencer Boyd will be returning to the Truck Series in 2025, driving for his own organization, Freedom Racing Enterprises, in the number 76 truck. It's unknown who the crew chief is going to be, but many believe it's going to be Mike Hillman Jr. Spencer has a lot of funding, and he, of course, has some old equipment from KBM when they switch over to Chevrolet and GMS. Spencer will be back in the Truck Series for sure, though, once again, in 2025. Then it was also confirmed yesterday that Dawson Sutton will be joining Rackley Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 26 truck. This will not be a second entry for the team, as they will only have one full-time entry where they switch to 25 to the 26 team. Now, obviously, they could run a part-time entry in 2025, but it doesn't sound like that is going to be a major possibility going into next year. Kevin Harvick Incorporated, though, is going to be partnering up with Rackley Ward for 2025. They're going to be helping out there. Kevin Harvick and Keelan are going to run super late models throughout the season, and Dawson Sutton will be getting help from KHI in pretty massive ways. This will be the first time that Kevin Harvick Incorporated has been involved in pretty big ways in NASCAR in many, many years and a long time, and Kevin will also be a consultant for this organization next year. There's been a lot of talk that 23XI has been looking to expand their program. However, that has been put on hold along with Front Row right now because of the lawsuit going on. We've talked about the antitrust suit, and NASCAR stated they might be taking away the charters from 23XI going forward. That's why you've not heard Riley Herbst being announced yet or Zane Smith being announced for their rides. Once this stuff gets proven, if they can get that injunction granted, we'll probably see that officially announced for 2025, but 23XI is still waiting on that to be granted on November the 4th. And finally, it was confirmed earlier this afternoon that Ryan Ellis will be joining DGM Racing in 2025 with an unknown number at this point. This is kind of shocking considering how long he's been part of the program over at Alpha Prime for the last couple years. He officially moves on from the Alpha Prime Racing organization and joins DGM Racing in 2025. So, that is going to be it for the updated NASCAR Silly Season update. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so invite when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me through Facebook and Instagram and support on Patreon as well. Links go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about the Silly Season update? Let me know it in the comments below. Later this afternoon, you'll see reactions in NASCAR Cup Series qualified from Las Vegas. You'll see the Xfinity review and probably a Shane Van Gisbergen video. Then, of course, on Sunday, you'll see the starting lineup video, and you also will see reactions at a Cup race and most likely a Shane Van Gisbergen video. And then on Monday, there should be a NASCAR news video dropping. Got a lot of great content dropping that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.